Let's make some fun junk journal ephemera using our sewing machines. You can also follow along with some faux stitching with a marker. Let's try something different, have fun, and let go of convention. This is an international collaboration with 9 junk journal artists. Welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. So this is something a little different and hopefully fun and inspiring for you. So first let me say thank you to Joey DeFee for organizing and inviting me to join this international collaboration. Maybe you have seen Joey's kickoff video on September 4th already. If not, you should head over to her video right after this one and you can find it linked below. Other artists in this collaboration are, and in no specific order, Tracy Fox, Gail Agostinelli, Shabby Dabby Duda, Roxy Creations, Helen Colebrook, Artie Mays, and Louisa Heinzel. You can find all their channels linked below, and we all have a video within about a week. Each of us will show you some ideas of how to use fast flow stitching, as Joey is calling it, which is stitching in curves, not straight lines. So this challenge is about letting go of convention, having fun, and trying something different. I'm super excited to see what the others have come up with. I'm currently working on an autumn-themed junk journal as a design team project for the Digital Collage Club. So I want to make some ephemera for that journal. The Digital Collage Club is a membership-based website with thousands of royalty-free images for you to use. And you can find links and discount codes below if you want to check them out. So let's get started. So I have to just start out by saying I am no expert with the sewing machine whatsoever. I can barely sew straight lines, so sewing curvy lines in a specific way is going to be very interesting and probably challenging for me, but I'm really looking forward to trying out what I have in my mind. So I thought I would start out maybe with these butterflies. Let's move the leaves for now. I will be using those shortly. So these are from one of the pages from the Digital Collage Club. This is a fairly new autumn kit. There's more butterflies than these, but I have these cut out. And I want 3 of the same or 3 similar ones. So I was thinking either these with the black tones or these more colorful ones. And I think I'll go with the more colorful ones. And my first idea was to use a book page and to kind of position these something like this. And then to have my sewing going from them. So it kind of looks like they're flying up. So basically I want some sewing in some curvy lines to the butterflies. So I'm going to use book pages to sew these on. A lot of us, I think, have a whole lot of book pages. What I would advise is to use book pages that are not too brittle and not too thin. So this one is fairly thick and sturdy. I think this one should work well. So the first thing I want to do is position these where I want them and glue them down. So I want to position them in a way that they're not on top of each other because I don't want the lines crossing. I mean, I guess they could, but I think I'll do it like this. And I don't want to put them on this side because I might be trimming this down a little bit. So I'm just going to use some art glitter glue, and I'm not going to glue them down all the way. Like I'm not gluing the tips of their wings. I want there to still be some movement. Okay, let's grab the sewing machine. So my sewing machine is not a fancy sewing machine. It's a Toyota. It's called Super Jeans. It is quite strong, I must say. I think it is meant to sew jeans, so that means it is very sturdy. But it's not fancy, like it doesn't have a whole bunch of fancy stitches. This is all I have. But that's okay. Maybe one day I can get a more fancy one when I am more experienced. So I'm using my largest straight stitch, and I'm just going to put the paper in here, and I'm gonna put the foot down at the end of my butterfly. And I'm using a black thread so that you can see it really well on this light paper. And now I'm just going to do my best to sew a wavy line down to the bottom. Let's see if I can do that. I have to admit I am a bit nervous. Let's see. Okay, I'm not even gonna, or maybe, yeah, I'll do a little bit of a back stitch. There, just to secure it there at the end. Then I'll just cut these off. And I'll cut this one off. So there's our first one done already. I think actually that looks really cute. And I don't mind that there's a gap between the butterfly and this line. I think that's totally fine. So let's try that for the next one. So again, I'll just position the foot approximately at the end. And since I started the one curve going to the left, maybe I'll do this one more towards the right at the beginning, just to vary it a bit. So again, I will cut these. I must say it's working better than I thought. And finally, we'll do the third one. So this one, maybe I'll start again with the left. So maybe I'll angle it like that from the beginning. So let's go. So I'm really just loosely turning the paper with one hand while I'm doing this, and it's working really well. And interestingly, it works better with a big stitch than a small stitch. I don't know why that is. Maybe you know if you're an experienced sewer. So that's our first page done. I think it looks really cute. If you have like a fancy stitch, maybe you can, I know there's some stitches that have like bows or something. I would really love to have bows on these, although I don't know if that makes sense for the butterflies. But you can also draw little bows maybe, or little leaves or something with a black pen. And yeah, and as I mentioned at the beginning, of course, if you don't have a sewing machine but you like the effect, then please just do some stitching by hand with a marker, or even do the whole thing by hand. You can do that too, but this is about the fast flow. So this is about the machine stitching. Now, the next thing I want to do is something similar, but with leaves. So I have these faux leaves here, which I got at my craft store. I found these at, well, not craft store. I found these at Action, which is a Dutch chain. And, oh, these are quite big. Maybe I can find smaller ones. This is smaller. And that's smaller. So I think these are kind of fun. So same concept. I'm going to use 3. 3 is always a pleasing number for the eye. This time, rather than having the leaves fly up, because obviously leaves come down, we want to signal that. And so again, I'm going to glue these down first, and then we'll put some fun lines going down. And I'm hoping that I can even manage to maneuver the page so that I can have something like this here, where there's actually a loop in one of these. So we'll see if that works. But first we have to glue these down. And for that, I should probably use my heat gun. Yeah, I think that would be fastest. While that glue gun is still heating up, I can maybe start on the third idea. So for my cover of my fall junk journal, I want to use one of these images. So again, I'll list this digital down below, and I just love these images here, and I think I'm gonna go with the fox because I love foxes. So I'm going to go ahead and kiss cut around him. So kiss cutting is when you don't cut all the way to the edge of an image, but you leave a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to do that and then be back. So I have him cut out, and now I want to just ink around the edges with my vintage photo, just to define him a little bit more, to have him stand out a little bit more, because he is going to be the star of our journal cover. And then I thought I would put him on a circle made out of a book page. So I have this beautiful German book page with this old font. I just love it. And I think this will provide a really nice background for him to pop out from. So I have this circle die. If you don't have a circle die, you obviously can take a bowl or a cup or something and just trace around it. But I will just take this to my die cut machine. So I have my circle cut out. So I think that looks really good. But I want to color the edges of the book page with some fall colors. I'm going to do this with my Caran d'Ache Neon Color 2 wax pastels. You can do it also with water-soluble colored pencils, or even just regular color pencils with watercolors, with anything. So I chose some fall colors here, and what I'm going to do is to just, because we're just going to see the edges, right? I don't need to color the middle. So I'm just going to put some color on different spots around the circle. Then maybe we take a nice brown. And how about something more reddish? Oh, that might be too red. How about this orangey color here? And then I'm going to take my water brush. You can take a regular paint brush, of course. And I'm just going to try to blend these as best as I can. Like that. And now let's see if we add him on top. Yeah, I think that's gonna look really nice. So I need to dry this. And before I put him on, we're going to sew around him. But first, let's glue these on. My glue gun is hot, so this can dry in the meantime. So these are actually not how I want them, because I maybe will cut off again a bit here. So I should put them more like this. Yeah, that should do it. So my heat gun, my heat gun, I always say heat gun, my glue gun is ready. Okay, we'll just let that dry for a second and then we'll sew again. Let's start out with this circle so it's dry in the meantime. So all I want to do is sew around the circle twice in a messy round stitch to give it some definition. So this is basically instead of using vintage photo, because I don't, well, we'll see. Maybe I'll add it at the end. So again, I'm using the same largest straight stitch I have, and I'm just gonna go around in a circle. And I'm gonna go slowly because, yeah, I don't know how difficult this is gonna be. Okay, and if you see that it's not turning enough, then you can always, if the needle is in, you can always lift your foot up a little bit and turn it a little bit by hand. I do that sometimes. You just have to make sure that the needle is inside when you turn it by hand, otherwise you're gonna lose the spot. So, and now for the second round, I'm going to do my best not to go over the first circle too much because I want it to look wonky and weird. If you know of any trick of making nice circles or going around better, please let me know. I struggle with this, to be honest. Okay, we made it, yay! Maybe I'll just go back 1 or 2 stitches. And if you're a beginner with the sewing machine, just have fun and play around. It's just paper. Okay. Okay, so there's our wonky stitching. I actually really like how it turned out. So then if we put the fox on top, it's gonna look cool, I think. And we'll put something else in the back. I'll show you that. So next, let's try the leaves. These are stuck down well now. So I'll start first with this outer one. And since this one has some space here, this is the one I'm going to try to loop around with. I have no idea if this is going to work, to be honest. So I'll position it at the edge here using the same straight stitch. And I'm going to try to go around here, make a loop, and then come down. This might be too ambitious, but we're just gonna try. This is a bit tricky because I can't fit it under here. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited it worked. Look at that, that's so cute. Okay, I'm just gonna cut off the threads. Aw, that is fun, I love that. Okay, see, I can do more than I think I can. So this one is short, so I will just do a curvy thing. Okay, that one wasn't very exciting, but it's very short. So we'll try to make this last one, because the leaf is down here. We have a long way to go down. So this one I can try to make more curvy and fun. I'm very happy with this. I think this is super cute with the falling leaves. And what else we could maybe do is, I was thinking here in the loop, maybe we could write Autumn Treasures. That might be cute. So I'm gonna take a black pen, and how do I write it? Maybe on top here, just curling around. Yeah, why not? Just like that. I think that's fun. Okay, so we have this one. So going back to our fox. First of all, does it need... I don't think it needs any inking on the edge of that book page, honestly. So if we just glue him on like this. So that's the first thing we'll do. I'm gonna use my art glitter glue for this and just glue him down completely. And I'm gonna make sure he's adhered well because he will be on the cover. So I don't want him to fold or anything. Like this. And then what I want to do is around him, I want to add some of these leaves. So I'm thinking maybe just like sticking out behind him. Somehow like this. I think that would make a really cute focal point for a cover. What do you think? Yeah, I like it. So how do we do this? I think I will first put a book page underneath, and then I think I'm just going to, I'll make sure that these are in the right position, and then I will carefully lift this and put the hot glue all around the circle. So I just tried gluing the circle onto the leaves with my hot glue gun, and I completely burned my finger. Yay! So don't do that. Please be careful with your glue gun. This is not the first time I have burned myself. They are really dangerous. So I'm gonna wait longer for this to dry and not burn anything else. Okay, so I'm just gonna place this on here. Try to position the leaves more or less symmetrical. And then I will clamp them down to make sure that they stay where they're supposed to stay until they're dry. And in the meantime, we can work on our fourth ephemera piece. So I thought this owl here would be kind of cute if we sew around her twice. And then we maybe tear around her and use her as a focal point for maybe an envelope, coin envelope maybe. So I'll first just cut her out. Don't have to be precise because I'm going to tear anyway. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to just sew around her twice. Wish me luck. So again, I'll have to turn it by hand because I'm not able to get the corner like I want it to. Okay, we managed once. Let's try one more time and try not to go over the same lines. It's always this one corner that I have a problem with. Okay, done. So I just snip off all the extra threads. I can leave a little bit, but I don't want to leave them too long. Okay, that's not so bad. I think that's cute. So now let's just tear around that and hopefully not tear into where we have sewn. So I think it helps to have the thumb here as a guide so that I don't tear into it. There. And I think this one is one I will ink up. So I have another book page here. This is a quite thin one. It's a dictionary page. And I want to make a super simple coin envelope out of this. So I think it's a little bit too tall. So I'm just going to tear down a bit from the top. Then I will fold one flap in. Fold this over. Fold this up and this down. This will be our flap to close the pocket. So now I unfold it again and I just cut away any excess. So I'll cut diagonal here and here. Then I'll cut away this corner. I am addicted to making coin envelopes. I don't know why. It is so satisfying. Then I'll cut this top flap. I'm going to cut straight because I will curve those edges in a moment. And then here I'll cut just about a 1/16 of an inch below the fold. This flap I will just cut along the fold. So now we have this shape. And now I fold this over, and to make nice round edges on the top flap, I am just folding this in half, but I'm not creasing it here. I'm just matching those corners onto each other. And then I'm just gonna cut both of them at the same time in a nice rounded shape. And then we have a cute flap on top. And I also want to punch a half circle in here. Oh, this paper is too soft, so I need to put another paper under it so that it will punch well. So that's a trick. If you have paper which is too thin or too soft, just put another one under it and it should work fine. Yeah, so now I just put glue on the flaps and glue it together. Super simple. If you want, you can ink up the edges before you glue it. I don't think I'm going to ink up my edges this time. So there we go. Super simple coin envelope. And so I want this owl. Where do we want it? Do we want it here? It depends how we add it to our journal, of course. No, I think I want the focal point to be on this side, and maybe I'll just add this pocket like a floating pocket. So maybe I'll just add it with a paper clip or something so that we can still turn it around and find out what's inside. Actually, I think I will ink it up since I inked this one up. I think it looks better if this is inked up as well. So that would have been better to do before I glued it. Sometimes we don't think that far ahead, or I don't anyway. So I'm just gonna do that all the way around. And the reason why it would have been better is because it's just because of this one part here, which is a little harder to access, but it's totally doable. Okay, that works better now. But of course, it's still kind of plain underneath, so I thought maybe I could add some napkin. I found this napkin which has kind of like fall colors, even though they're summery flowers, but I like this orangey color, so I think I will add some napkin on here. I've already separated the ply, so this is just the one ply left. I'm gonna take my water brush to go around where I want it to tear. Just tear it like that. Now I have everything wet, great. And now I'm just gonna use my glue stick to attach that, or to adhere that. Don't wanna mess around with any wet media like Mod Podge. And I want it to have like a fabricy feel on the top. And this is the quickest and easiest way to do that, I think. So I'm gonna turn that around. And then I'll just smooth that out. All the edges disappear, except this one here that I didn't tear. That's gonna be okay. So that looks super cute. And if we add him on top, oh, that might be too much actually for the background. That is too much. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna dry this and put a little bit of gesso on top just to mute it a little bit. Okay, it's dry, and I'll just put a little bit of gesso, because that was just way too much for that image. I think that should be better. So again, I'll just dry this quickly. So I think that's much better. So we'll just glue him down. And you could of course add a sentiment or something somewhere. So that's our little pocket. So those were 4 ideas for you to try. So we have our autumn butterflies. We have our falling leaves. I think this might be my favorite. Then we have our fox for the cover. And we have our little coin envelope for inside. So if you want to see the rest of my autumn junk journal, stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss it. So I have, I think, 2 videos coming up making that journal. 1 or 2, I'm not sure yet. Check out those other channels. They're all linked below. I'm sure there's so many fun ideas for you to try. Just play and have fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Love you guys. Mwah. Mwah.